All right, let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour, where the second round of the Kartarpur talks has just concluded. And Pakistan has, of course, agreed to a number of certain issues. Now, there have been certain points that have been put forth by India, and India has urged Pakistan to take into consideration the sentiments of the pilgrims to have smooth, easy, unrestricted access throughout the year to be able to visit the holy Gurudwara Kartarpur Sahib. In this context, the following requests have been reiterated by India to Pakistan, namely 5,000 pilgrims to be allowed to visit Gurudwara Kartarpur Sahib using the corridor every day, given the unexpected high numbers. Besides this, India has also stated that not only Indian nationals but also persons of Indian origin holding OCI cards should be allowed to use the Kartarpur Corridor facility. The movement should be visa-free is another of the demand. Pakistan should reconsider charging any fee or introducing any of the permit systems. Now, these are some of the key issues, and besides this, one of the most important issues that's been raised by India is that there should not be any anti-India activity that should be allowed in any of the areas adjacent to the Kartarpur Sahib shrine. This, of course, has been a point that has been reiterated by India. So the second round of talks has in fact just concluded. We expect a joint press briefing which could take place in some time from now. And for more on this, we are joined in by our senior political affairs editor Kartarpur Sharma, who's joining us over the phone line. Kartarpur, over to you now. This, of course, is a very significant meeting that has just concluded. Take us through the highlights of it.
I think the significance lies in the fact that, they have agreed upon the quantum, which is the number of pilgrims who can visit. They have decided upon the days. They have decided upon the issue, like, for example, that faith should not restrict a person. Now, the progress was also made in finalizing the draft agreement in context of the modalities, as you just informed the viewers, which means that throughout the year, 5,000 pilgrims will be able to visit Kartarpur Sahib Gurudwara per day. Now, the pilgrims will be allowed to travel as individuals or in groups and also on foot. You see, this has gone into good detailing. Pakistan also highlighted the infrastructural constraint because India was saying that the issue of flooding concerns them because of the alignment of the land as such. Then on top of it, it has been decided that at least 10,000 pilgrims must be allowed, and they should be able to make their trip to Kartarpur via foot, land, and by other means also. But I think that this breakthrough is important in context of the 550th anniversary which India is celebrating of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and Pakistan in this context has also made certain baby steps. For example, India had issues in context of a member who was supposed to be close to Khalistani groups in Pakistan, and Pakistan subsequently dropped that gentleman from the list. So it's not as if these baby steps have not been noticed, but I think it's important in context of Sikhism. We have to understand that the two of the most holy sites of Sikhism, as we know today, now lie in Pakistan. One is Nankana Sahib, where Guru Dev Nanak Ji was born, and Kartarpur's importance lies in the fact that he spent his last years in Kartarpur. And if you look at the theology of Sikhism, Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke about working, and the ethic of working in Sikhism emanates from his philosophy, which he made in Kartarpur, that every day you need to contribute and work. So that went on to become an integral part of what Sikh spirituality is today, that you have to work. It is very unlike Hinduism, in which you renounce and then you do away with worldly activities. Absolutely. But in Sikhism, that is not the case, and that is why Kartarpur is very, very relevant to Sikh ethos. He spent 17 years farming in Kartarpur.
Absolutely, Kartarpur. And now most of the innocuous demands, they have been met, at least in principle. But one of the biggest sticking points was of these individuals who are a part of this Kartarpur Sahib corridor project from the Pakistani side, who are said to be either sympathetic or people who are actively involved in the Khalistani movement. Now, there was this individual, Gopal Chawla. He has in fact been taken off from one of the committees of the Sikh groups there. Now, at this point of time, we are given to understand that there are still about at least 3 other individuals who are part of the Khalistani movement, who are pretty active in the Kartarpur Sahib corridor project on the Pakistani side. Do you think Pakistan will be willing to relent over this aspect?
I think the Kartarpur corridor, it has to be safeguarded, and I think it has to be seen in separate light altogether. It is not like other issues where certain important issues like terrorism or certain other important issues like Kashmir come between the relationship of India and Pakistan. Now, Kartarpur Sahib is more to do with issues long pending and being demanded by Sikhs. Both in India and Pakistan. For example, Pakistan also has a Sikh population, though not much of minorities is left in Pakistan, but they would also like to visit places like Amritsar, Delhi, Patna Sahib. These are important holy spots of Sikhism. These are the places which Guru Nanak Dev Ji had visited. So, Sikhism, I would say the spiritual topography of Sikhism is about the travels which Guru Nanak Dev Ji took in the subcontinent in West Asia. That defines the Sikh holy spots. So similarly, after the partition, two very important spots were left inside Pakistan and the issue was not resolved. But I think nonetheless it's a baby step, but a step on firmer footing. I think it's something which should be welcomed.
Absolutely indeed. And one of the other demands that has of course been put forth by India is the demand for a consular presence in the Kartarpur Sahib Gurudwara. Do you think this is something that Pakistanis will be willing to concede?
The fact that, the press release which says that the both sides have agreed to maintain a channel of communication and work towards finalization of the agreement in the Kartarpur Sahib Corridor. Now, it also goes on to state that the technical team would meet again to ensure a seamless connectivity for Kartarpur Corridor is operational in time so that the pilgrimage can begin in November 2019. So, there is a sense of commitment here, Saleh, from both the sides which says that the pilgrimage can begin in November 2019. So they have come together on this issue. So that in itself is an important declaration of intent.
Absolutely. And also, Karthikeya, considering the context in which all of the talks are presently taking place, do you think the progress, the baby steps that we've managed to take in the Kartarpur Corridor issue will actually, create an atmosphere where India and Pakistan can engage in other major sticking points that the two countries have?
Absolutely. For example, to say that it was agreed to allow visa-free travel for the Indian passport holders and OCI card holders 7 days a week, I think it's a breakthrough in context of Kartarpur Sahib. And this is throughout the year. 5,000 pilgrims will be allowed to visit Kartarpur Sahib Gurudwara per day. Again, that's a breakthrough. And we have to understand that it's not like we are sharing a border with Bangladesh or Nepal where to and fro is easy. To and fro is easy when you move to Bhutan. But, we are talking about Pakistan. So, there is an issue of logistics, there is an issue of security, there is an issue of mistrust. Despite all that, if we have been able to reconcile certain technical, political and issues related with national security, then I would definitely say it is a strong step, it's a good move, but then on a surer footing.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Karthikeya Sharma, for joining us and getting us all those important updates. So this is the second round of talks that has just concluded between the Indian and the Pakistani officials. There are several points that have been agreed upon. There are still a few more sticking points that the two sides will, of course, try and sort out in further subsequent rounds of negotiations. Meanwhile, let's now shift our attention across to France, where France is celebrating its Bastille Day, and Emmanuel Macron, the French president, is of course presiding over the annual military parade on the occasion of France's Bastille national holiday. All right, so this, of course, is the Bastille Day Parade celebrations, which are presently underway in Paris. And as a part of these celebrations, at least about 4,300 members of the armed forces, 196 vehicles, 237 horses, 69 planes, and about 39 helicopters have been mobilized by France for this event that is taking place at the heart of the French capital. The closer European defence cooperation has, of course, been one of President Emmanuel Macron's key foreign policy aims. And the president wants to show no signs of wavering despite the growing global and political turbulence in Europe and, of course, across the world. All right, there you can see President Emmanuel Macron flanked by some of the other European leaders, Angela Merkel of Germany, and also some of the other leaders from other European nations who is witnessing this parade. Now, this, of course, marks the storming of the Bastille Fortress during the French Revolution back in the year 1789. And what is interesting is that this is one of the oldest military parades that has been in existence in the world since the 1880. That is well over 139 years ago is when this parade was started, and it has been held pretty much without exception every single year.